All right, and for the first time in several weeks, welcome everybody to pole position racing here for round 8. It's been a hot minute since I've been around, but hey, sometimes real life happens. But meanwhile, that doesn't change that there's been a lot of action behind the scenes that we've seen, that we haven't seen, and that I am more than happy to get you caught up on. And of course, joining me as always is going to be the wonderful and amazing Syntax. Syntax, good evening, and how are you doing today?
Oh Lord, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you are watching this beautiful masterpiece, as always. Thank you, Brad, and I'm doing so good, and I hope you are going great. Today is another special day. Why? Because we will have another format as a sprint race today, so more racing, more exciting things on the track. I cannot wait to that.
Absolutely. It is round 8 here in Barcelona of our 12 round season. Jumping in, of course, there was a delay with Japan because of real life F1, so we did not run a sprint race in Japan. We moved it over to Barcelona, so you get a bit more action here with Barcelona. It's going to be 11 laps for the sprint and then 33 laps for the main event after, of course, our 18-minute qualifying session. And Syntax, let me ask, what sort of crazy things have I missed out on here in the past month that I have been away?
Amazing fights. That's definitely the thing. Uh, Jack is coming back to his amazing performance. He is training a lot, so I hope we will see today once again amazing battle. So also Jack, as I mentioned, and John Meister was trying to catch with the points our current leader Graxend. Of course, Graxend also was doing a very, very good job, but it isn't that easy as it was. So I will get it a little bit more spicier, so you have to wait until you will see it.
Oh, I love when things go through. And of course, this is the classic track combo here that we are running. Barcelona, a well known track. All of these drivers should be very, very comfortable here. And this should be a track that they are just able to fly and put lap times on. I'm expecting a very, very competitive qualifying up and down the grid of our 18 drivers. Looks like we have 18 drivers. Usually we'd have a 20 car grid. It looks like believe it is who's missing their teammate right now that we can see. It looks like the Haas is missing a teammate, and potentially who?
No, Hasses are both.
No, both
Vixie and
Haas's are there.
Wasserfine.
Okay, there we go. Yep. And that is what we keep things on eyes for. John Meister starting our times out here. But Syntax, yeah, so John Meister putting in the first time here, things going through, but Jack putting in a very competitive P2, and we're expecting some good pace here from Jack, and kind of just looking at how things have gone. The grid is very, very close here going into the back third of the season.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm more hype, even that we have a sprint race today. So more points might get you closer to the championship title. So every single point earned today is really, really important.
Every single point can make the difference at the end of the season. You could end up like a Sergio Perez and have Lewis Hamilton, taking things away from you if you're not careful. But as we kind of take our peek here at the driver's stats, I'm trying to pull things up here and just look through. I want to see exactly where drivers are here. Graxent has had a very, very good season. But of course, Jack is just ahead here by 4 points after the British Grand Prix that was last weekend. It was rainy. It was a little bit chaotic from what I understand. John Meister, of course, picking up that win. Jack Graxent being on the podium,
Exactly.
holding on to things through. So should see some tight battles through there. We've already lost Maverick from this qualifying session, which means that Maverick will start the sprint race from the very back.
Exactly. And I believe Graxent today have a lot to show his true pace and everything what he have. He might need to show exactly today because, as I mentioned, we have a sprint race, so very important points, and also, of course, a normal main event, main race.
Yeah, and that just adds for opportunities for action, opportunities for overtaking, and Graxent deciding to show that true pace early on and pull out a 111.447, getting a very, very sizable gap there. Just over a tenth and a half ahead on John Meister and over a quarter of a second up on Jack. So Graxent deciding to set the pace early here, but again, Barcelona's a track that all these drivers should know very well and should be able to put very competitive lap times on. And Syntax, you've got a bit of experience here with Barcelona, so kind of just talk me through what it takes to be successful here at this track.
Coming back for the Barcelona, the track has changed. Of course, the last section, last corner, it's not with the... Oh my god, I forgot. How is it called? Never mind. The whole section 3 is changed. It's much, much faster. And you can definitely feel more grip on here in Barcelona. So this track might be feeling more comfortable, more likely to drive, and you don't have to worry about your grip that much. Of course, second sector with DRS straight. It's also very tricky because one wrong move and you can fly out because you can lose the grip here. And of course, that turn that you entering in the sector 3 also might be a very tricky when you are too early on the throttle. The rest not changed that much, but you can take a lot of throttle and a lot of speed near to the last 2 corners. That makes you a much faster on the main straight.
I think the big key for the drivers is going to be getting used to this different third sector and being comfortable with that and really carrying the speed through the final 2 corners into the main straight. But that turn 1 braking zone is a good opportunity for overtaking, especially going into the first lap. And going in turn 1, lap 1, we all know what sort of action can happen there. We've got yellow flag middle sector. Looks like that's just for one of the AlphaTauris that are moving pretty slow. This is our 5th edition of Barcelona. Some very, very good moments that have happened in Barcelona. Of course, JJ, 80 Gamer, Ashti, and Tazo are previous winners here. And I'm curious to see if they'll be able to channel anything of their experience to get a win here today. Syntax, what do you think?
Speaking about the Kashti, he's currently on his own hot lap, so maybe let's focus on him right now. I believe Kashti will definitely like to fight for another podium because Kashti also make a big progress, and he is training a lot. So he wants to get back to his previous season's form, and I believe Kashti will be able to fight for the podium. I'm not sure about the winning, but definitely for the podium. And when you said that AD Gamer won the race, I still remember that race. It was so crazy that almost at the end of the race was raining. The weather was changing so quickly. Speaking of which, Kashti just made a fastest lap of the qualification session by now.
Kashti putting down a very, very competitive time, just 2/100ths of a second. 23 thousandths of a second ahead of Graxent, representing that ART Racing team. Very, very competitive times there. And Jalajne just pulled in a little bit faster of a time. The drivers continuing to ramp up here with 9 minutes left to go in qualifying. We're halfway through Syntax. And I feel like we haven't touched on some of the big story points here. Of course, there is the big action that's happening up at the front of the field between Jack and Graxent. But there is, of course, also the big battles for the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull, Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, very, very close in their battles as well. Alfa Romeo and Ferrari just separated by 5 points. So the question becomes, which of the Ferrari teams can secure P2 in the championship, and can Graxent and Baran hold on to the head of the Constructors' Championship?
We will see. Right now, John Meister jumps into the second place. And of course, we have to say that this qualifying are for the sprint race, not for the main event.
Yeah, it does mix things up because the finish of the sprint will set the grid for the main race. It is different than how they do in real life. Of course,
exactly.
With Brazil being a sprint weekend in real F1, it kind of shows the difference of how things set up here. But as we go through here, we're watching Wasserschwein with 8 minutes to go, who is working on putting in a time here. And he's going down through that first sector, hitting the middle sector, looking fairly comfortable. You can see he invalidates his lap right there in turn 9 over the curb, just a little too much. And that is the dangerous spot of that downhill section. You can mess up, go a little bit wide, and it can cost you your lap time. He lets the Mercedes through there of John Meister, who goes right by him. So at this point, it's just going to be a matter of what driver can get the cleanest, most consistent lap, because our drivers are really, really close in time, with the exception of Simon and Maverick, who didn't get a time on the board before he retired.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still wondering that in this game is such a case like improving the track, because we can clearly see that if we are closer to the end of the qualifications, drivers are making much faster and much better times. That's especially shows of their performance. So I'm wondering that maybe some of them will be able even to improve more. Right now we have a yellow flag in the second sector because I believe Tazo don't have enough fuel. I'm not sure because it looks like it looks like he don't have enough fuel to drive until this lap. So we will need to wait until that yellow flag will hide out. Nevertheless, we still have 6 minutes until the end, and we still don't know who will take the lead. Right now, Baran on the provisional pole position. Right behind him, we have John, Jack, Żelazny Kaszti, and Graxent. Really, really strong top 6, top 7. Looks like the fight, the battle for the standing on the highest position in the grid will be extremely interesting for us in the sprint race.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very competitive all the way top to bottom, I think. And of course, Graxent currently on a flying lap, so Graxent looking to improve. He's got to find about 0.3 of a second to get ahead of Baran, which should be doable for him. I don't feel like that's a big ask, especially as you talked about how the track kind of evolves as the drivers go through. That is one of the things with F123 is as the qualifying session goes, you do... Oh, Graxent with a big snap of oversteer there. So maybe this won't be the lap that he improves on. But it does seem like the longer the qualifying session goes and the longer the session goes, the track does tend to evolve, get more grip. And yeah, Graxent aborting his lap there going into the pits. He is going to bolt on a fresh set of soft tires, I think, and then go right back out again. So Graxent was up, though, and he was looking pretty good there on that lap. Just had to abort it there for that big snap in turn 10.
Less than 5 minutes until the end, and right now we have Kula jumped into the third place in front of Jack. So things are getting spicier until the end, and I'm so excited. I was waiting for that over the weekend. Right now, Dormati, aka Mateusz, I don't know how to call him because every season another nickname, but that was this corner that I was speaking about previously. It's really tricky corner, too early on the throttle, and you can kiss the wall as Dormati done right now. So Dormati placing himself right now at the P8, but it's not over yet. Maybe he will fall down a little bit because of the other drivers. We have to wait for that.
Yeah, the curbs are not very nice of these cars, and if you get just a little bit too wide and you go on the outside or into the curb on any of these corners, it can upset the balance of the car and really send them around. And this is a track that you really, really don't need your car spinning on, because it's very, very easy to lose the car through. Every one of our drivers into the pits right now, Syntax, with about 3 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. And as I say that, Barthez, first driver out. So Barthez in the Williams there will be the first driver to find the last bit of time that he can here going through, and then Yasin will be the next car in the AlphaTauri. So 3.5 minutes left to go, and it looks like we're gonna have a very, very busy last couple minutes, Syntax. And this is one of those questions I'm gonna pose to you as a driver. Do you want to be one of the first drivers to put in a time, or one of the last drivers to put in a time when it comes down to the final lap of qualifying?
I preferring to make as a last one, because I can wait how much time I have until the last lap. That's first thing. And the second thing, every single driver is already on the track with his final lap done. So I know how much I need to push just to move higher in the with the grid positioning. So I prefer much better this way.
That seems to be how most drivers prefer it, honestly. That's how I prefer it as well, is to go through. Bartha is into the pits here with just a couple of minutes left to go, so that will be interesting to see if Barthez makes his way out before the end. Yasin, who is coming through the third sector, has a slow AlphaTauri in front of Tazo, I believe that is. Actually, no correction, that is Kashti. So Kashti is going to wind up and get our final laps going here, as he is going to contend with a lot of traffic coming out of the pits, and this is going to be really, really rough for Kashti going through, but you can see the Mercedes just stopping there.
Oh no!
Yep, and that is going to disqualify John Meister because he stopped to try to give the room to Kashti, but he gets disqualified for blocking the pit lane there. A very FIA-style move. So John Meister will be starting from the rear of the field, regardless of what he could have done there. And he was sitting P2, so that's very unfortunate, Syntax.
Yeah, especially that he wasn't blocking the pit lane entry, exiting. He was just like making place for Kashti for the hot lap. Oh my lord. Not like this. Not like this. Please, FIA. Do something with this.
Mafia confirmed. Mafia confirmed. Meanwhile, just a minute 20 left to go here as we see Kashti, who is navigating his way through the third sector, dealing with a lot of traffic here on this lap, as his teammate Tazo is just now starting a final lap. Tazo's down in 13th and needs to find a bit of time here to go through. But look at that, the Mercedes!
No!
Oh, no!
No!
Kashti getting blocked there by the traffic from Simon, and that spells catastrophe for Kashti, because that is Kashti's session over. Debe retiring out. Barthez, Dormati, Maverick, John Meister all settled in their places. And at this point, it is truly just a matter of who can find time and improve. We see Graxent, who is coming around. We've got one of the McLarens of... that is Franek. Jalajne is going through the first sector. Franek just now starting a final lap. So I think Franek will be... actually, Jack will be the last driver to start a lap. Jack just now crossing the start-finish line. We have Graxent, who's coming through the third sector here. He's up by 8/100ths of a second. Can he find a bit more time here to improve on that 1:11.1 that his teammate set? And as Graxent comes down the start-finish line, it's a 1:11.3. It's only good enough for P3 here, so not good enough to improve. Jalajne will come through, and Tazo's coming around as well. Who can find the time? Syntax, I don't know, because the checkered flag's about to fall. This is all we have. Tazo's only up into P12. Where is Jalajne going to find himself? Checkered flags down.
Second place. Really, really good time, but not enough to beat Baran. But let's focus on another driver, because it's not over yet. As we can see, Kula also is in the sector 3 right now, and he will be placing himself right now on the P2. So he jumped in front of the Железny. So we're still waiting for the Jack, I believe, and Graxent. I don't think so. Graxent is losing too much time. So Jack will be the last driver finishing with the line, but he didn't improve, so he is finishing on the P5.
So it's going to be Baran to Kula to Jalajne to Graxent to Jack to Kashti. So top 5, very, very good. Dormati, of course, spinning there in the third sector in turn 10, but had a good enough time in place for P7, and thankfully we're in sim racing, so Ferrari don't have to worry about repairing that car and, pulling a Charles Leclerc, but they'll be lucky to get going there. And then it's Wasserschwein, Myros, Barthez finishing out our top 10 in qualifying. And you can see all the way down, I think the big standout for me is Tazo down in 13th place. That's not where I expected Tazo to be. But Jack, P5, also, I thought Jack might be a little bit further up. But as close as the gaps are through the field, it almost doesn't surprise me to see it mixed up like it is.
Yeah, but check the times between Barthez and Debe. It looks like both of Williams are working on this result very, very hard.
Williams looking very, very good all the way through. So, Syntax, my question for you, sprint race, 11 laps of action. Who comes out on top?
This is very tricky and difficult question, because what I have seen in Austria, I'm not playing this game anymore because it always changing too much. So, nope. I'm not saying that.
Good choice. Good choice. I'll give that one to you. Baran Kula will lead off our front row here. And as I said, the braking zone into turn one can be a little tricky off of the start of the race. So we'll see how things go into turn one. And really, that hard right hander of turn three is going to be the next section where things get very, very tricky all the way through. And Syntax, it's going to be fun because it's 11 laps of just flat out pushing. The drivers don't have to worry about pit stops, tire management, anything. It's just push the car all the way around, and Baran will lead them through. All right, and now we just wait on the lobby to load up. The drivers will grid up, and then it's 11 laps of action coming our way. It looks like it's still it's a little cloudy, so weather I don't think will play a factor into this. We have seen it rain in Barcelona, though, and I will say that's probably my favorite race I've ever commentated is that race when it rained in Spain.
I will actually love to see the rain in sprint race. Maybe not in the main race because it will definitely slows down the whole pace of the drivers, but it will definitely get it more interesting, more spicier. But I will prefer to make sunny weather. Nevertheless, we can make our wishes what weather we would like to see, but still it depends on the game. But right now we have all the cars right now on the track on the formation lap because I believe it works fine.
I'm so glad to have formation laps back. It's one of my favorite things that we have, and we can see formation lap here. Baran leading everyone around. We see Dormati and Wasserschwein getting disqualified from the formation lap, or I'm going to assume it was contact. Oh, F123 never change. Oh boy. That will be a conversation for later, I'm sure. We'll see how things go on the old Discord. And of course, if you want to be part of Pole Position Racing, it is exclamation Discord in the chat. I think it should be working. And if it's not, then it's always down in the description if you're watching on the YouTubes later, or if you're watching on Twitch now, just scroll down a little bit and you'll find our Discord link. Join us for everything exciting. And then, of course, we do have to give a quick shout out to racetracks.pl for helping support the league, and of course Moza Racing for allowing us to be a Moza affiliate. Exclamation Moza and Racetrack, and again, those links you can find those in the description and scroll down as well. They help support Pole Position Racing and keep us going. In Syntax, I love Moza Racing because it's my personal gear, and of course Racetracks has some really, really good stuff as well. Race strategies, as we look here, is no stops. We're expecting 11 laps of flat out on either the soft or the medium tire, and it looks like everyone except for Kula, Jalajne, Wasserschwein, and Yasin have went for the medium. Which tire do you think is going to be better for this 11-lap shootout?
This is actually very difficult question because, of course, you are able to drive on the softs by 11 laps, but it will be extremely difficult to drive on them until the end of the race. So personally, I will probably pick the mediums.
I do think the mediums are the better option myself because they're going to last a little bit longer through and really, really hold on to things. So they're going to hold on to the grip a little bit longer. They're going to last a little bit longer. They may be a little bit slower off the line, but I do think near the end they're going to come into their own. Frantic disqualified, Jack disqualified. I wonder if that's just for overshooting the grid box.
Yes.
Awesome. So as we set up, it is going to be 5 red lights. And for round 8 sprint, we are underway, and it's going to be Baran on Kula, and they get away very, very evenly there. Of course, Kula on the medium tires, Baran on the soft tires, Jalajne on the medium tires as well. And as we run into turn 1 for the first time here, it is going to be Graxit getting ahead of Jalajne there. And actually, we see mix-ups all the way through the grid, but I don't see any cars spinning, so it looks like for 18 cars through, everybody's holding on. Tazo to Debe side by side, and it is going to be Graxit who has made the big jump into P2, but look at that back in the back. That is Kashti, who's trying to have a dive around Jalajne, going around the outside, but having to contend with the AlphaTauri there of Kula, and Jalajne will now be on the outside, 3-way around the left-hander here, holding on, and there it is. There's a tire bump there, a snap from Kula, and that sends Jalajne into the gravel on the outside. He comes back on, he joins back into PA. In Syntax, we're halfway through the first lap, and I think all the drivers, for the most part, have kept it together as best they can.
Yeah, and I'm so glad about it because we know what can actually happen on the first turn in the Spain. Nevertheless, I'm really curious how Tazo's race will finish, because right now he presented himself amazing. He's currently on the P9, so a really, really good job until the first lap. And we can see right now Kashti is very hungry for that podium, and he would like to have the best possible position right now. He was fighting with the Baran, but I believe there was a little bit using of the battery. Right now still fighting wheel to wheel right now, entering the very tricky section, but Kashti still no Baran, still wheel to wheel. I love this situation when you can exactly see how much small improvement on the corner makes you able to overtake. But something's happened with the Jack. I believe he spun out, and he is currently placing himself on the P18. So I believe the team from the Maranello right now, even that we've seen today some Charles Leclerc problems and Carlos Sainz with his paddle, it isn't a very good day for the Ferrari.
Forza Ferrari, mamma mia. Jack missing that end plate there and now down into last place. He'll surely have to pit or just kind of suffer it through. But great battles there between Kashti and Baran up front. But Baran now down into P3 holding on. But Graxent has found his way into the lead and is outside of DRS, I believe, from Kashti. And again, fastest lap there from Graxent. So Graxent doing very, very well here. Starting lap 3 of 11 to hold things together. But back in the mid-pack, that is going to be where the action is. Watch this, Dormati trying to get past Myros around the outside into turn 1, turns into the inside for turn 2, and he does get that pass done. Dormati holding on, though, very, very close through. Jalajne, 6th place there behind, who is trying to fight his way back forward. Still side by side, Dormati and Myros side by side, all the way around the right-hander here. And in the end, it is the Ferrari of Dormati. One Ferrari having a disaster of a day, and the other one finding his way up in P4, 2.1 seconds off the podium, and just a handful of laps to try to fight his way forward. I do think Dormati has a chance to do so, but it's going to take a lot of pushing on those soft tires to see if he can keep things moving. The medium tire runners, Syntax, not finding their way forward like I thought they would, but not dropping as far back either. I think here in a few laps time, they're really going to be hoping that the medium tires fire up and move forward.
Yeah, definitely. I still believe that we need to wait until this mediums compound will be definitely more usable until the end of this sprint race. But of course, maybe if someone is able to save the tires and manage them until the end of the race, making them their lives a little bit longer. Now, beautiful attack from Debe, breaking a little bit later than Tazo and overtake him. Beautiful move. Coming back to the tires. Maybe then it will be very enjoyable race for every single soft users.
Yeah, Wasserschwein on the mediums there. You can see he feels like he has more pace than Tazo. He's swerving around a bit, trying to find an opportunity just to put the front wing in, but not able to at this moment. But you can see the soft tire runners possibly starting to feel that little bit of deg as we go through. We're lap 4 of 11 here. So 7 laps to go. I can do math off the top of my head, Syntax. And the leaders are starting to open things up a bit. It's really that battle for P4 that we're starting to see. But Kashti catching up to Graxent little by little. These front two starting to build a gap, and then Myros is starting to catch up to Dormati, and Jalajne catching up as well. So we're going to start to see things get a bit competitive again. Yellow flag sector 2, that is going to be for Simon, who it looks like has spun there out of turn 9. Again, that dangerous corner where if you catch just a little bit too much of the curb, it will catch you out. Kashti back up front, though, trying to make a move on Graxent, not able to there, but we see mix-ups in the midfield as well. And it looks like Wasserschwein getting around Tazo there. Side by side, they go through turn 1 and turn 2. Syntax still side by side they go.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, Wasser just overtake Tazo, but I believe it's not over of the fight right now. Tazo will try to find his best position as he will be able. But when I was saying, oh no, there was a contact between Vixi and Kula, Kula get a little bit too early on the turn, closing the door for Vixi, caused him a spun. So that's why Vixi was struggling a little bit. But coming back for a fight between Wasser and Tazo. Tazo will be in the DRS section right now, but it's not enough to overtake Wasser fine. And maybe that's what we were speaking previously about medium tires, maybe it's the time.
Lap 5 of 11, maybe the medium tires are finding their way, but watching these front two pull out a 3.1 second gap makes me wonder. And watch this, Cashy's going to have a dive around the right-hand side. It'll be the inside for turn 1. DRS open. Cashy has the pass done before the braking zone, so Cashy getting past Graxon, getting in the lead here in that Alfa Romeo ahead of the Red Bull, and it'll be a matter of who can hold on all the way through this race as we continue to watch. Now it's just a matter of can Cashy defend the rest of this race, and that's a tall ask here, Syntax, with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, it's a very difficult question, and I can answer for this one. But I believe the fight between Kashti and Graxen will be until the end of the race. So still 5 laps in front of us of pure battle between them. Something's happened to Jack right now, and he decided to retire the car. So I believe Jack decided to step back. He said like, okay, no chance to fight for a better position right now. So that's a good decision for him. He have more time to prepare for the main race, and then we will see fighting Jack from the back of the field until next race. But right now, the situation between P1 and P2 gets more spicy right now. Graxon is going for the inside, but there is some Ferrari.
Jack's ghost?
Yes, but he decided to retire the car, so I have no idea what is happening there, actually.
Why did it bring Jack's ghost back onto track to retire when he was in the pit lane and retired? I'm so confused. Oh, that could have been so bad. Oh.
Yeah, that was so close to a disaster.
And his car is still going around. It's still coming around turn 4. I'm so confused. Anyways, back to the on-track action, Syntax. Graxon and Cashy swapping positions again.
Myers just spun out.
And safety car in the sprint race. That's something that we haven't seen in a while. Okay. Well, and for the record, safety cars are on reduced, I believe, now for the league for the rest of the season.
But no one actually crashed. Only Myros has spun out. But he was on the main road. He was ghosting. So I don't see the point why he should. Oh, this game.
And Graxon chooses to pit?
Yes, that's what I wanted to say. Cashed. We have almost 2, and Myros just crashed out.
What? What?
Or he decided to retire the car. I'm not sure.
I think he retired in the pit lane.
Yeah. Nevertheless, almost 2 laps until the end of the race. So that's not that bad for the soft compound. Dormati and Kashti, I think there are easily to make this stint longer, so it wouldn't be a problem to finish on this compound. But I'm speechless right now, and I have no idea what is actually happening since 2 laps ago, and I have no idea, Bradley.
Graxon choosing to pit, that might have just cost him a lot. Because nobody in the top 10 pit, so he came out P11. That's a questionable decision. It's a very, very questionable decision, because depending on how long the safety car stays out, he may only get 1 lap to try to make up any places. And at a track like Barcelona, that's a tall order. That's not a lot you can do in 1 lap to try to gain position. So I'm curious to know what the pit wall was thinking when they chose to box him. I'd like to hear. I wish we had radio call, because I'd love to know exactly what was going on. That
would be awesome.
Really weird.
Nevertheless, we will have less than 2 laps of racing. Yeah. and I don't see a really good scenario for Graxen right now. Being totally honest.
Yeah, and remember that this sets the grid for our 33 lap race. So this could be disastrous for Graxon's race too. Like just looking forward, not at necessarily the sprint results, but looking at the race results as well. If
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't gain positions, he'll start in the mid pack in the chaos into turn one, and that will be problematic. I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Of course, we know that Graxen have an amazing race pace, but starting from the P11, it's still difficult, right?
Yeah, it's not the position I would want to be in if I was him.
Everything is so messed up right now. So I believe both of us are don't know what we could possibly speak about because there happened a lot. Like Myros DNF'd safety car in this lap. Jax DNF'd, and his of course he retires his car in the pit lane, and his car gets back on the track, which makes very questionable situation. And like why? And decision of the Graxon to going for the new pair of softs makes like Kula, Kushor, Yasen, Tazo, Wasserfein, Debe in a really good position right now. But right now we are going back for the racing. Mateusz Dormati is right behind Kashti, of course, using a lot of battery for every single driver right now will be very reasonable. But is Kashti actually able to hold his provisional pole position for the main race and winning the sprint race, of course?
That is going to be the big question. Kushor DNFing out, but I don't think we'll get another safety car here because it's only 2 laps to go. But look at this, Kashti and Dormati side by side as we go through the right-hander of turn 4. But Kashti able to shut the door there, with the Ferrari getting very racy. You can see swerving from side to side of the track, trying to set up a move there on the Alfa Romeo. The Ferrari works team against its customer team of Alfa Romeo. Who comes out ahead there, or does Jalajne on the mediums have a little bit more pace to give here in these final couple of laps? Dormati all over the rear wing of that Alfa Romeo. And Baran just kind of setting back a little bit here. Debe was under a bit of pressure on the race restart from Wasserschwein, but is able to settle that up. Graxon is moving pretty quick on those soft tires, though. He's up into P7 around Tazo, continuing to move forward. Yellow flags behind. It looks like that is going to be for, I think, Kula, who has spun down into P14 but is back going. Again, no issues there. No DRS, I think, for the rest of this sprint race, because typically it's DRS 2 laps after safety car, so I don't imagine we're going to see any sort of issue there with DRS, so it's all about pure pace. Scracks it up into P6 now, making me eat my words of why did you pit, and he's up and through. Dormati still behind Kashti here. Final lap, Syntax. Who comes out ahead in these two?
Look how Graxen is flying right now. He already took Wasserfein and he's now attacking Debe. He's so close to Baran. Baran help him and he's currently on the P4. What is going on right now? This is a single lap and he is flying right now. He is jumping on the P4 from the P11 right now and he is so close to Zelazny. He will be easily overtaking right now. Look how bad. I'm losing my speech right now.
Graxit pulling very aggressive moves there, trying to get past Shalajny. Look at Dormati up front. Dormati trying to dive around the outside of Kashti. He's going to switch it back to the inside. They're side by side. There's some wheel contact there. The Ferrari goes around the outside of the Alfa Romeo now. He's trying to hold on to it. Look at the background there. Graxit around the outside of the McLaren. The Red Bull trying to hold on. It's 2x2 all the way through it. There's a snap from Dormati. Dormati spins. Dormati wrecks in the final corner, and Kashti will bring it across the line here. Graxit will find P2 after pitting with just a few laps to go, and all of us saying, what are you doing pitting into P11? He proves everyone wrong, and 2 laps goes from P11 to P2. Jalajne through, and the heartbreak for Dormati, as Dormati will find his way back into P11. And Syntax, are you okay?
Yes, right now, and I think, like, from both of us, like, from the whole commentary section right now, we have to say it, Graxent, we are so sorry that we doubted.
Graxent, like, take a bow.
Fully. Oh my god, that was a banger lap.
So Kashti secures provisional pole. After his contact with Dormati, though, I'm sure there will be a steward's inquiry into that after the race. Cracks at P2, Jalashne, Baran, Debe, Wasserschwein, Tazo up into 7th. And as we look through, it is that last corner contact with Dormati costing him big time, and Kashti able to hold on just enough. I thought for a second Graxit was going to find his way forward because that was a wow.
I'm speechless. I'm really speechless, and I cannot wait until the main race.
Oh my gosh, the main race coming right up. We're going to take a quick break here, grab a quick drink, and get ready for 33 laps of action at Barcelona. All right, and as we set things back up here and we wait on the drivers to get on the grid, get their setups going, of course, lobby restart between the sprint session and the race just to make sure there's no issues, no bugs, nothing weird going on, and we can get 33 laps of action as cleanly and as comfortably as possible. Of course, Cody's, I love you, but it's about a 90% chance if it happens. We'll do our best though. We do everything we can here. We'll set up and then do a formation lap. And Syntax, you and me were just talking about it. The Discord general chat getting pretty spicy.
Yeah, this is like a really good word for that. Yeah, the spicy moment for general chat. I believe it will show also a little bit some spicy moves on the track. So I cannot wait for that.
I cannot either. And formation lap is underway. And if I could hit the right buttons and not accidentally pause my game, that would be great. And we'll watch here as Kashti brings the drivers around through this lap. Of course, it is Kashti, Graxent, Jalajne, Debe, Wasserschwein, our top 5. Jack, the big standout story from the sprint race, of course, retiring out. And it looks like we didn't see it, but there was some contact between Jack and Kula, and that is what knocked Jack down into P18 and knocked that front wing off. I said he was missing the front end plate there before he retired, but that is what caused that. And I guess the big question is, we see a variety of tires on the track, Syntax. What are we expecting in terms of race strategy? 33 laps, some people on soft, some on medium, some on hards. What? One stop? Are we expecting a one stop here?
Yeah, it's a really long time when we had like a situation that you have double pitch as a strategy. So I believe every single driver would try to go for like softs to mediums, mediums to softs. Personally, I wouldn't go on the hard compound. Maybe it will pay off for the Simon and Maverick. But it's doubtful for me. I believe mediums to softs will be a really good decision. Kashti with the softs starting the race, a good potential to jump out a little bit more. But we note the pace from the rest of the guys, so it will be a really difficult for Kashti.
Absolutely. AWS pit stop strategy says around lap 14, if you're on softs, you're pitting for mediums or hards. So we should see the mediums or hards last quite a bit longer. We see Kashti on the grid. Graxent disqualified from the formation lap, again, for missing his grid box there. We see all the drivers trying to slot in. And in last place is that scarlet-colored Ferrari will be the last driver to grid up here and get in his place. And now we just wait for those infamous 5 red lights. And it is going to be the 5 red lights that we can't see on our side. And we are underway here for 33 laps of action here in round 8 of pole position racing. And it's a good getaway from Kashti and Graxon as well, getting away fairly well. And Zolajne keeping his eye on the mix. John Meister Dormati swapping position as we run turn 1 for the first time. That's an Alfa Romeo in the grass. That is Tazo running very deep into the grass in turn 1. You can see shuffling things up quite a bit there in the midfield. Dormati into P8, John Meister P9, Gas in P10. We already have an Aston Martin out of Myros, Kushort going very slowly, and safety car before we can get through turn 2, Syntax. It is pole position racing back.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting actually to things like this. I didn't saw actually what happened with Myros. I'm very sorry for him, and I believe he was trying to have a best race and best performance as he have. But as you mentioned, like we didn't even go for the second turn and we already have a safety car. There was a lot of mess on the turn one. When you said Tazo on the grass, there was a Debe with Wasserstein fighting wheel to wheel, and Tazo was trying to go as a third one, but there wasn't place for him. So Debe pushed out a little bit Tazo, but as I mentioned, there wasn't a place for Tazo. So that's why he goes out on the grass. But yeah, right now, Baran on the P6, Debe P9, and Vasser on the P4.
Look at Jack up into P16, but he's completely missing his front wing, so I'm going to guess that something between Jack and Myros happened, and that's what caused Myros to DNF. I'm willing to lean on that a little bit, just based on no front wing at all. The front nose cone is completely gone on that car, so he's into the pits. Jack pitting lap 1, Kushor pitting lap 1 as well. And I don't see Kushor having much more damage there. Jack having to lock the tires up, going into the pits to try to avoid speeding. Thankfully not getting any sort of penalties there. But Kushor into the pits. I don't see any front end damage, but he's going onto a set of soft tires and getting a new front wing, it looks like. So we'll see what Aston Martin have up their sleeve here. But Kashti start... Our front three didn't change at all, Syntax, which is, I think, the good news of that beginning. And it goes to show that a little bit of consistency there. Wasserschwein Debe swapping places, as you mentioned. It's going to be a long 33 laps here, I think, for these drivers up front. They're going to have to hold on to it as best as they can.
Come on, Brad. It's Spain, so we know how it works right here, right? You will probably know and remember that situation when you were spectating me as a driver in a Ferrari when I was exactly in the same place as Dormati was 2 seconds ago when I crashed on the wall, kissed the wall, and that was the end of the story of Ferrari, Syntax in Ferrari on Spain. So every single race in Barcelona was Spain for me. But yeah, it is what it is. Nevertheless, I'm really interested by John Meister and Dormati, currently on the P8 and P9, how it will go. One more thing, I will show you. When you will check the POV of the drivers, just check the difference between how much wider Ferrari is comparing to the John Meister's Mercedes.
It is a very, very significant difference, honestly, looking at it. They did the recent update where they changed the cars. They did the mid-season update to make the cars more relatable to the real cars, and I'm very, very fucking happy to see it. I'm trying to read chat. And see what's going on. Whoops, that's a Freudian slip. And we will edit that out later. I apologize. Whoops. Anyways. Yep, we can see drivers not very happy about their lap 1 situations based on the chat. I will allow everyone else to read that. And I will not read that out loud.
Yes, and of course, now we are sure that definitely something's happened between Jack and Myros.
Myros not happy at all. And, I mean, can you blame him? It's lap 1, turn 1. But, then again, he's doing better than Ferrari in real life because he made it to lap 1, turn 1.
Hey, but Ferrari made it until the lap 3, right?
Yeah, for the most part. You know. And if you haven't seen the Brazilian Grand Prix today, I'm not going to go into it. Yeah, nothing's changed. Just F1. If you watch any of F1 season, you know what happened. For me, it was a little heartbreaking for me because I am, of course, a Alex Albon stan at the end of the day. But, hey, that's just, that's me, myself. I, of course, dressed as a Williams racing driver for Halloween this year. Syntax, I don't know if Halloween is big in Poland, but here in the U.S. it's a big deal, and I dressed as a race car driver. More specifically, I wore my Williams apparel to include the shorts, the shirt, the racing gloves. I took my Moza racing wheel with me.
Ooh. I'm so sorry that I'm disturbing you, but Casti just made a really good move because Graxen thought that Casti is already starting, but he was still trying to hit his tires. But he took advantage of that. Graxen has to slow down, and Casti just moved on. That was a very good move from him.
I didn't even realize the safety car was ending. I completely missed that call there. The call I'm not going to miss, though, is Baran up the inside of Wasserschwein for P4. Very, very clean move there from the Red Bull driver. He's trying to get up with his teammates so they can go on the charge for the front. Gormati up the inside of Wasserschwein as well into the left-hander. Very, very clean move there. John Meister up the inside of Debe. So drivers starting to shuffle around here. The soft tires trying to take advantage of that little bit more grip that they have, and doing a very, very good job of it. I'm very, very impressed to see these soft tire runners having just that bit more of an advantage. John Meister getting very, very swirly there around the inside of Wasserschwein. Debe trying to take advantage as well. Debe might be able to get 2 for 1 here, but not close enough to hold on against John Meister, but is going to defend again. Oh, Wasserschwein taps the rear wheel with the wing, and there's carbon fiber everywhere, and that is a spin for the Williams driver, but he gets going again. But I'm not sure I can say the same for Wasserschwein. I believe Wasserschwein taking pretty significant front end damage. And Tazo's out there, and I did not see what happened, but Tazo is out there in the final corner.
Tazo was trying to go to the pit lane, but he wasn't able to move that much on the steer, and he crashed in front of the wall.
And safety car has been deployed again.
Oh, this race is going to be disaster.
Oh, this race. What is this race? What is this race? It is interesting to say the least.
Maybe let's go back to your Halloween costume because you didn't end it.
Yeah, so I wore I have a lot of F1 gear. No one's surprised. I'm a Formula 1 fanboy, but I had the Williams Williams pit crew shorts. I have the Williams team shirt. I had the sim racing gloves on, the Jimmy Broadbent Feel GG gloves, and I had my Moza wheel with me, and that is what I wore for Halloween. I actually got to wear it the whole day at work, which was really nice. So
sounds amazing. I cannot wait for to see the pictures.
Yeah, I'll put a picture in the Discord later. Yeah, it was funny because it's what I wear on a daily basis otherwise. So it's what I'm used to wearing and I'm comfortable wearing anyways. But yeah, it was kind of fun. It was kind of cool. And then I, of course, partake in the Red Bull fashion. So I bought all of the Max Verstappen champion merch whenever he got his driver's championship. I have the hoodie.
Yeah.
I have both of the t-shirts. I didn't buy a hat, but, you know, I just don't wear hats that much. But I bought the hoodie. I bought both of the t-shirts. I'm quite happy with them. And then, of course, I went on holiday or vacation, as we call it in the US, and wore all of my Red Bull merchandise while I was on vacation. I put pictures of that in the Discord. If you're in the Discord, you've seen them. And yeah, that's about how my past month has been summed up. It's been very, very busy with real life action, and I'm glad to see that while I was gone, nothing changed here with the league.
Same old good pole position racing league. So you didn't miss that much. I would like to also bring one situation from the iReal Formula 1 today's race from Brazil, and the most enjoyable moment for me was fighting between Perez and Alonso. It was a really, really cool battle, being honest.
53 milliseconds separated Alonso from Perez at the end of the race.
53 seconds for the podium.
It was so cool to see. It was nice to see. It was nice to see Perez fighting at the front because he's been at such a poor form all the way through this season. But it was also nice to see good old Fernando showing signs of what we've been missing for several races. Aston Martin have been struggling very hard, but it's been very, very nice to see Fernando race. And of course, they're coming to Vegas very, very soon, and I can't wait to see how Vegas runs. It's a race that I'm nervous about because they're making it a spectacle. And of course, the race is at 2 a.m. U.S. time because they have a race in my home country, but they can't have it at a decent time. But it'll be okay.
Of course. We also missed almost a very interesting battle between Jack and Kula because they were so close. It was like P10 and P8. But Kula go for fresh pair of medium compounds. So if there will be a moment for them, we still need to wait for that. And we are so sorry for you, Tazo.
Uh, it it's one of those things that you can't help but feel. It's like it's just it's rough. I mean, uh, I hate it. I hate seeing stuff like that happen. It's part of racing, but man, it sucks. And yeah, it's just there's not a lot of words to say there. But the good news is it's not the last race of the season. We've got a few more races to go, and Tazo can redeem himself next time.
Of course.
Ashty here in the lead, Graxent in P2. Graxent, where he's used to being up at the front of the grid and going for another race win here in pole position racing and another podium here in pole position racing. And I'm curious to see where Graxent can land himself here. Lap 7 of 33. And I think safety car should be in this lap, Syntax. I think this is third or fourth lap under safety car.
It should be. It started on the 5th lap, so I believe it should be on this lap. I wanted to mention about Tazo's situation. Like, we can compare it to the, like, love might hurt sometimes, and definitely for another Alfa Romeo's car, that kissing the wall comparing to the love might hurt a lot, especially that I was seeing like flying a wheel in the air, so that was definitely a hurt. But I hope the next race for Tazo will be much better. Nevertheless, Bradley, about Kashti's tires right now, and we're getting back for the restart right now. He almost didn't use them like a lot, so there's a very good situation for Kashti right now. We can see like Braxton is taking that really hard right now, and they are will to the turn one. Let's see that there will be a contact or not. No, Kashti decided to go a little bit more deeper on the inside corner. That's why he lost a lot of pace, and Draxen is taking this advantage right now and placing himself on the P1 with a beautiful move.
Dormati with a gorgeous move to get past both Baran and Jalajne on the race restart. So Dormati pushing his Ferrari up into P3. And I have to mention Jack, his teammate in the other Ferrari, up into P7. So Jack able to make a bit of a redemption story here and actually make that P6 as Jack goes up the inside of Wasserschwein. A bit of a redemption story coming from Jack. The comeback drive to go. But yeah, talking about the tires, they've only done one racing lap. Every other lap has been pace laps. So these soft tires should be able to go for a while and should have a bit of pace in them, Syntax.
So this is a really good situation for Kashti because he will be able to make this stint a little bit longer. So a very good situation, but still, of course, usage of soft compounds is much bigger than of course the medium compound. So Kashti will need to think something about his strategy right now. Very close to Graxent, almost will to Bill. But Graxen is in a much better situation. But there's a contact, there's a snap for Graxen. But Graxen somehow managed to save that. Kashti, of course, take that first place right now. That was, I wouldn't say it was like a very difficult movement from Kashti, and I believe it was like racing incident. But I hope that everything is so fine right now. And we have another yellow flag in the sector 1. I didn't saw what's happened there.
Oh, Kula just drove straight into the wall. Something happened with him and Frantic, and then he got back going, but just drove straight through the wall, didn't turn. I don't know if that was intentional or what that was, but that was yeah, that was
another safety car.
It's like he didn't have steering. That was weird, but yeah, that's that'll have to be reviewed by the stewards because that almost looked like an intentional DNF. I hope it wasn't, but I mean, he just didn't turn and went straight into the wall outside of 3, so I don't know. But now we'll start to see if drivers decide to pit, and the soft tire runners are opting for... Well, no, I said soft tire runners. It's only Kashti. Kashti opting to pit here, and then Kushor opting to pit, so these tires have only done about a lap and a half or 2 laps really of racing, and I guess Cashty is saying if this is how this race is going to run, I'll just run medium tires to the end, and really they should be able to make it.
If you may continue, because I'm handling with the any
Yep, I see it.
other.
You're good. But yeah, it's the tire strategy is very, very mixed now. Cashty coming out into P12, but on brand new mediums. That's a very, very good, very, very good setup to find him in. And then, of course, Kushner on brand new hards, John Meister on brand new medium should make it to the end. Through, and then Dormati Baran staying out on soft tires, but again, they've only done a couple of racing laps, so I would imagine that they are going to hold on through. Graxit on those 9-lap-old mediums is in a very good position because, again, the cars have only done a couple of laps. And really, the wear tear just isn't there. They shouldn't have much tire deck to show and should hold for most of their pace.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's interesting, Syntax. It seems like tensions are very high here with the end of the season coming down because it really is just a matter of figuring out who will land where in the points, and with everything being so close, it just feels like the drivers are really struggling to keep their cars together. Oh boy. Yeah, this is interesting to watch through. And Deve, 15 seconds back currently, trying to catch the back of the grid here, doing his best that he can. Looking ahead at the calendar here, of course, we do have we have Mexico, Brazil, Austin, and Vegas to round out our season. And should be an exciting final 4 rounds here as we're rounding out the middle run of our season here in the European, and then we'll go, of course, to the Americas to finish out this season 9 of pole position racing. Should be a very, very exciting season to finish indeed. Lots of stories to go through. And Syntax safety car is ending at this point, so I think we should see some really good action here up at the front. Graxit and Dormati, we should see some big action coming from them here in just a moment. And Graxit has control of the field. When is he going to decide to go here? Because he can go pretty much whenever he wants.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a pure advantage in his hands right now, especially that Cashty decided to go to the pit lane to change his tires right now with the fresh medium compound, and Graxent went really, really fast, as we can see right now. It's really difficult for Dormati right now to catch out Graxent. He's still 0.3 of a second behind him, and Graxent proves us from race to race that he's an excellent driver. Of course, you don't have to stand on the podium every single race, but what is currently doing, both of Red Bulls are doing, shows me how the true sportsmanship and teammates should co-work together, and I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Graxit doing well to represent Artemis Esports here as an F1 driver. Of course, ART stands for Artemis Racing team doing very, very good to hold on and be consistent through his races. And there's a big spin in the back. That is Jalajne around, and that is Jack around as well. What has happened there? I looked down for 2 seconds and I look back up and I see the McLaren and the Ferrari just absolutely in circles. I don't know what happened to him there, but that is going to drop them all the way to the back of the field as Simon will come through into P13. What in the world happened there, Syntax?
I don't know, but there's a close battle between Kashti and John Meister. John Meister go in front of the Kashti, so this is another very interesting battle. But other good news:
Oh, Dormati.
we don't have a safety car.
Oh, I'm so glad, because we are approaching the halfway point of this race here. Dormati trying to get around Baran there into turn 1, and I said, oh, Dormati, because he got hard on the brakes and the rear end kicked out from him, but he was able to hold on to it. Very, very good racecraft there. Kashki getting around Maverick for P8. John Meister up into 7. All right, well, I am jumped back in. Let's jump on board here. As I see Tazo has retired from the session now.
Yeah, because Tazo crashed himself.
Ah, that is not good. But we are back and going, and let's jump back on board as we've hit the halfway point of this race. And Syntax, technical difficulties. Welcome to pole position racing, where it wouldn't be a race if we didn't have just a scary moment there.
Bradley, I think for the next races we should prepare a bingo, a PPR bingo. Connection issues, check. Safety car, check. Virtual safety car, check. Some drama at the Discord, check. Some problems for the drivers at the qualifications, check. I believe every single thing that I just mentioned will be every single race. So we will see who will win first.
Me, because I made the bingo card. That's what I'm going to tell you anyways. But the good news is we're back and going. So let's check out some of the action that's going on. Baran's up 5 places. John Meister's up 5 places. But Baran and Graxent have yet to pit. Wasserschwein has yet to pit. Barthez, Maverick, and Jalajne all still need to pit. I think it's interesting. John Meister's taken 3 pit stops, which is a lot for just being on lap 16. But then you have to remember, we've had 2 safety cars, so it doesn't surprise me that much.
And virtual safety car.
Yep. So doesn't surprise me a bit, to be honest with you, that he's pit that much. If you have the chance to pit and get fresh tires, you might as well pit and get fresh tires. And he is running on 7-lap old mediums at the moment. Dormati with the fastest lap so far at 1:14.3, which is a very, very good pace that we're seeing from him. And I have to wonder, when do you think Graxon's going to pit on those medium tire, Syntax?
I'm not sure, but I'm really admiring right now Baran with 16 old lap soft compound. It's like, for me, it's impossible to drive on wheels like this. As I know from the past, my wheels probably will blown up or something like this, and I will have magically no wheels, and then it will be up here. Definitely something like this.
Yeah, I struggle with just brand new tires to begin with to get grip and keep going. So watching the drivers go through like 20, 30 laps on the same set of tires, I wonder how they do it, because I struggle. Of course, my experience with Barcelona's and GT3 cars when we ran our endurance race in Assetto Corsa Competizione, that was my experience with, of course, the much faster Graxent than me and Brad. We ran that race representing pole position racing. We finished the race, which was really our goal, was to finish the race. So I think that was fine, but that's my big experience with Barcelona on race pace, is running an hour in the seat of the same setup and just pitting once. And these drivers are much faster and much better than me and train a lot more than I do. But nevertheless, lap 18 of 33, Syntax, Kashti 1.8 seconds back. John Meister is starting to put some pressure on Graxent with those newer medium tires. Who do you think is going to come out ahead between these two?
John Meister have a pace and have a much fresher medium compound, so I believe later or sooner John Meister will be leading in this race, because Graxen still have to go for fresh pair of wheels, right? So it will happen anyway. But
Yeah.
in the other case, I'm wondering why Zelazny is struggling
Oh
so much. And
no!
Baran, did you saw what happened?
I did
Exactly
not
the
see
same
what
as
happened.
Tazo. Exactly the same as Tazo.
Oh. And virtual safety car deployed.
Death of Wall, Wall of Death, Magic Wall, Wall of Champions. How would you call it? Because it should definitely have the own name, as you know, like there's Ascari, but it's not Ascari. It's like JJ's corner,
Oh my
JJ's
gosh.
chicane.
I'm gonna call it the Wall of Dreams because it crushes them.
Wall of Dreams.
Oh, oh, Polish words that I don't know. Heartbreak. Oh my gosh.
I like this name, Wall of Dreams.
Yep, I'm sticking to that. Final corner is called the Dream Corner at Barcelona, just in our league. Yep, we're going with that.
Yeah.
At
This
least,
race is. Yeah, please go.
at least it's a virtual safety car, not a full safety car.
I think we reached the limit of the safety cars in this race. I hope so. And what you were talking in qualifications, like it should be reduced or something like this? Gregson!
Oh, he almost did it. He almost did the same thing. Oh my gosh, Graxton, you scare me. And now he's into the pits, and he pits right as the VSC ends, so he doesn't get the benefit of VSC. Oh, Graxit. Where is Graxit going to come out? Graxit should come out ahead of Kushor potentially. No, he doesn't. He's
No.
actually going to come out. He'll come out behind Frantic. So that is a significant time loss for him.
Gregson took another fresh pair of softs.
What?
Ah, Gregson was on the medium compound.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was on the medium. So he went medium to soft.
Yeah.
Oh
Baran was on the soft compound.
Okay, yeah, because I was about to say he's gonna have to do another pit stop at some point, so I'm really confused. But no, he's fine there, medium to soft. But
yeah, 13 laps.
Yeah, the soft should last, and we know Graxit has paced on the softs just based on the last 2 laps of how the sprint race went. And here we go, Graxit's gonna do what Graxit does and work his way forward. Dormati and Kushor battling, but Graxit getting his way forward into P7. He's gonna make up 6 seconds to get up to the battle here of Dormati and Kushor. Dormati up into P5. So Graxit with a pretty significant gap that he's got to make up. He needs to find 20 seconds in 13 laps.
Dormati with the second sector fastest right now, but he didn't earn the fastest lap of the race. Who is leading right now with the fastest lap? Let me check. It's actually Dormati. No, it's Zelazny right now.
Zelazny fastest lap, and look up in P2. Look who's in P2 right now. Debe setting up his contentions for a podium. I do like to see the Williams up front. I do like to see Debe up front as well. Debe, a driver that we have seen many times up front, and then heartbreak happen, and ooh, getting a little swirly coming out of turn 9, holding on to things here, and Kashti gets back around the inside of Debe. Debe back down into 3rd place, but still in a podium position, so looking very, very good.
Do you believe that Debe will be able to hold that P3 and it will drive home on the hard compound? But Wasser, look how much he is struggling on this hard compound. He is sliding on them, but Wasser's fine is already on the 20 old lap medium compound. So Wasser definitely need to go for the fresher pair of wheels. But right now Debe is attacking Kashti, and Debe is in front of the Kashti. I would never think that I will see things like this, but Kashti right now is taking into consideration that he is a little bit faster than Debe, maybe because of the wheels, but they are fighting, and I'm glad of it.
Just remember, the more they fight, the closer they invite Wasserschwein. But I'm looking at fastest laps. The fastest lap Debe has done is a 1:15.0. The fastest lap Wasserschwein has done is a 1:16.2. And the fastest lap that Dormati has is a 1:14.3. Graxit now fighting his way past Kushor. So Graxit's up into P6. Graxit with a 1:13.6 for his fastest lap. So it's just a matter of, is there enough time for them to hold on? Graxit needs to find 4.3 seconds to get to Dormati, but he was able to knock out the time to Kushor. He had nearly 7 seconds he had to make up to Kushor, and he did that in just a handful of laps. And I think it's a matter. I think Debe and Kashti are fighting for P3 at this point, because I do think Graxit is going to have the pace to move forward. I just don't know if Graxit can get the lead in the next 10 laps, but it's also like saying I don't know if paint's gonna dry. You know, paint will always dry. It's a question of just when, not if. Debe moving forward into P2 yet again. So Debe and Kashti continuing this back and forth battle, with Wasserschwein slowly gaining ahead and John Meister building up a bit of a gap ahead of them as well. 5.6 seconds the gap to the leader, but this battle for P2 is all but over here on fairly even match grounds. Syntax, 10 laps to go. What's the big storyline right now?
My fingers are crossed just to not see any yellow flags and safety cars and virtual safety cars, and that's all I matter for me right now. But I don't remember, like, being truly honest, I don't remember when for the last time I've seen Debe on the podium. I truly don't know. But it makes my heart like really warm right now to see the big W right now at the second place, and it makes me so happy.
It's very, very nice to see him up towards the front, because it's somewhere that Debe has been several times. As I mentioned, he finds moments of pace. He's led races, and then just something unfortunate happens, and it knocks him back. He's finished inside. He hasn't finished inside the top 5 this season, which is weird to say considering how much pace. Yep, I think that's a bad Ethernet cable that is my issue. Hopefully, I've moved some things around. It shouldn't act up again this race here. And just 8 laps to go, Syntax that to make it through. And it's really just a matter at this point of seeing what happens, or where things can land.
Yeah, John Meister is still running away from the band Kashti, so we can safe to say that he's trying to secure his provisional winning the race, but John Meister have a 5 seconds time penalty. Right now he's in front of the Debe with 6.8 seconds, so he have a time, but if Graxent will pick up his pace, it might be a little bit problematic for him, I would say.
Yeah, it's Graxent's really in a good position here, but again, I'm pulling for Debe. I'm going to be a little bit biased here and pull for Debe because I want to see Debe on a podium. He deserves it. Kashti setting P3. It's a great battle that's shaping up here all the way through. All the way through this race. Sorry, I'm trying to just make sure everything's working again. But Syntax, the pace difference that Graxit has is scary, and I think if Dormati can stick right with him, we may see both the Red Bull and the Ferrari move up into that P2 and P3 spot if Debe and Kashti can't fight it. And you can see them just, as we go down the main straight, just in the background, they're starting to etch their way closer and closer, and it's a matter of time, and do they have enough time here?
Yeah, but if Dormati will be fighting with Graxent, it will also slow down both of them a little bit. So Kashti and Debe would earn a little bit more of the time until the end of the race. So there's a lot of different situations truly connected to each other. So it's like trying to find the proper way to end this race, and like the true scenario, I don't have that one because anything might happen, as always, of course. PPR, hello, good morning, afternoon, but I don't know. For the first time, I don't know what to say.
You know, for some reason, not knowing what to say doesn't seem like a bad thing with this. Being able to just kind of chill out and enjoy the ride and enjoy the race and watch these front three who are on very, very old tires try to fight off a Speedy Graxent who is on some dying soft tires and Dormati who is on some middle-aged medium tires. This is a good way to find ourselves here. Jack and Kushor, Jack's fought his way back up to P8, so I'm going to jump back to this battle because this is a very, very close battle here. Because watch this, as Wasserschwein's in the mix as well. Kushor dropping back down into 10th, Jack up into 8th, so that battle in the middle is continuing to heat up as well for the last of the points-paying places in Tex. So the battles through the field starting to heat up as things go.
Yeah, Graxent and Dormati are picking up the pace. Still more than 3 seconds, but Graxent is a little bit making it much lesser than before. Right now, 2.7 seconds behind Debe. But Debe is also very close to Kashti. Look how much, because of that fight, Kashti and Debe lost time to John Meister. It was like 6.5 seconds. Right now, it's almost 1 second more. So this fight definitely somehow affect on every single driver behind John Meister right now. But I believe Dormati will be fighting with Graxent. Nevertheless, if Graxent will be holding this pace as he is holding right now with these soft compounds, without battery, because when you will check from the Dormati POV, you can see that the lamp is blinking, so battery might be not on that much usage as he will probably wants it. Dormati have a moment of the snap right now, but it was a really dangerous moment. I believe situation for Graxton is like maybe win-win, or maybe he will lose on it. I'm not sure because there's so many things right now. Nevertheless, they are so close right now to Debe and Kashti. So we will see definitely a very interesting battle between those 4 drivers.
Yeah, coming within a second. We did also see on screen there Kushor and Maverick with a bit of a moment as Maverick spun. Maverick down in P11 last, just outside the points, trying to get his Haas moving forward. His teammates in P8, but here it is. Graxent has caught up with Debe and Kashti, and the difference in pace is impressive. And at this point, it's 9-lap-old softs against 19-lap-old hards and 19-lap-old mediums. We need to see Debe put the loud pedal to the floor. We need to see Debe move forward. I need to see him get past Kashti because we need to see him be able to defend back against Graxent, and really his hope is to put a car between. And he's not able to do it here into turn 1, and Graxent getting just that little bit closer with the help of DRS. Half a second to gap now, and Dormati knows on those medium tires as well that he needs to just kind of stick with it as well. Wasserschwein and Barthez battling back on the main straight. Wasserschwein has passed Barthez there for P7, and he has a 7-second gap to Jalajne that he needs to make up here. 3 laps to go, Syntax, and at this point, I think with the gap a 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second, Graxent is going to have a definitive move here on Debe in just a matter of corners.
Yeah, but maybe Debe will be like Ministry of Defensive as Sergio Perez last year. Maybe we'll see. Don't forget that Debe is still in the range of DRS from Kashti. So, in the biggest problem right now, with the biggest problem right now is actually Kashti, that is currently on the 2nd place, but it might change in a very quick moment. Because of Debe and Graxent right behind them. Dormati, we can see, is out of this fight, of this competition. So Kashti, Debe and Graxent are fighting each other for the podium. Right now it's move from the Debe and Graxent somehow. That was so close. No! Graxent just... not like this. Not like this.
It was the sandwich. Debe was the Williams and a Red Bull Alfa Romeo sandwich. And it knocks Debe into P6. No damage on the front wing, thankfully. No damage. Maybe a little bit of floor damage there on the side that I can see. But it looks like that for Debe is going to be disaster. And that is what we talk about, that heartbreak. He was trying to do his best. He went one way. and Cashy went the other, and Graxon went the other way, and just not able to hold on to it. So now Debe will be in P6 and having to defend that P6 from Wasserschwein. And Graxon, with just 2 laps to go, does not have enough time to get around and get towards John Meister. 8.6 seconds the gap. Dormati falling back a bit. Cashty just over a second. Dormati just over a second back from Cashty here. And as we round out to lap 30, I think this is 32. No, maybe we're starting. Yeah, this is lap 32. Okay. Yep. I know how to tell what lap we're on, guys. It's just the top left corner. I promise I can read. But as we go into lap 32 of 33, just 2 laps to go here, and Graxon looks comfortably in that P2 position. Again, pit stop strategy that we questioned, and we probably shouldn't have, because he just held on to it and was very, very relaxed all the way through.
Yeah, but I'm really impressed of the truth pace of Graxon in Barcelona today. He is just flying on this track. We can see that he is very comfortable here. He knows his car, and he knows what he can afford pushing the car over the limits, and he is proving that today a lot, especially that since this lap began, he jumped out in front of the Kashti over a second. But still, Kashti might lose the podium because Dormati is right behind him. We can see that Kashti is struggling a lot on this old medium compound. Dormati have a little bit fresher, but still they should be enough to overtake Kashti and take him out of the podium, as it's done right now.
Very, very clean pass before the braking zone even hit. So Dormati up into 3rd place there. And they're both on very, very old medium tires, as you mentioned, Syntex. But Dormati just slightly newer tires, slightly more pace there. Able to get through. And kind of looking through the field, it's Barthez who is trying to battle out Jack for P8. Not close enough to make a pass happen there into turn 1. Cashty is going to continue to try to fight through. And as we watch that, I do want to point out our leader, John Meister. We haven't talked about him for a while, but John Meister, in kind of a league of his own there, just comfortably driving through up in the front of the field. He's starting the 3rd sector now and looks very, very relaxed. So a very, very dominating win here for John Meister today. We haven't talked about him a lot there in the Mercedes. It's the contrast of what we see in real life in Barcelona. And as John Meister rounds the final couple of corners here, John Meister will bring it home with a 5-second penalty to his name, gains 7 places, and does win the Spanish Grand Prix here in pole position racing, round 8 of season 9. Next car across, Graxon, and then Dormati does hold off Kashti here for P3 on the podium, and then Jalajne will come through for 5th. Debe is holding off Wasserschwein for 6th, and Wasserschwein, of course, carrying 8 seconds of penalties here. Actually, does he hold him off as they hit the line, and you can see a little bit of bump drafting there. We're not in NASCAR, but it works. Jack will move up to 7th. Barthez will move up to 8th. Wasserschwein will actually finish out P9. Maverick 10th. And as we watch, Kushort, Simon, and Franek will be our last few cars. They're starting the 3rd sector now, but all eyes for the silver arrows of John Meister, who, Syntex, we didn't talk about a lot because there wasn't a lot to talk about. He kind of just ran his own race the whole time.
Yeah, but still, it was a very good race under the conditions that we have today. A lot of safety cars, virtual safety cars, crashes on the walls of dreams. It's finally over, and I believe it was truly Spain, as always, for most of the drivers. So I believe I think like 90% are glad that it's finally over. But it was really interesting race.
I'm in Spain without the A. You're in spin? That sums up several drivers' races. Oh boy, Spain producing a race that only Spain can produce through. And we see John Meister, top step of the podium. Mercedes celebrating virtually. Very, very happy with their run. And it's a Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari podium, much to the chagrin of the Tifosi and of the Red Bull fans everywhere, as they should be. Graxon, very, very strong drive in both the sprint and the main race. And then, of course, Dormati showing very, very good pace all the way through, following Graxon up into P3. Heartbreak.
Heartbreak, yes.
In other parts of the field, though, if we mention, Debe, Jack with a good recovery drive there, and the other Ferrari moving up into P7. He started out P18, so very, very good drive. But Syntex, I think that's going to be where we call it for this weekend. Any last thoughts or anything as we go into next week, which is Mexico City?
Um, I'm just thinking like I hope a lot of drivers will take a note, take a lessons from today's race, and it will show them to avoid some of the situations. Maybe will goes with I will say like not use a lot of emotions as we've seen today, because I believe some situations might get heated too much that will affect your driving style, etc., etc. So a little bit less emotions, more focus on the drive, and it will be good.
Absolutely. And remember, if you want to be the next person on the screen that wins the next race, go to our Discord and join in the league and get involved. Of course, thank you to Racetracks and Moza as always for supporting the league. Thank you for everyone for everything you do here. And on behalf of Syntex, my name is Brad, and we'll see you next week, same time for Mexico City.
Bye.